decided to make another video. Today I'm converting an older Craftsman deck to a newer Craftsman mower. This is the mower I'm putting it on. It's a late 90s, early 2000s series. Works for a lot of newer ones converting to and a lot of older ones converting from. These ones have a cable actuated deck, while the originals have a mechanically lever actuated deck. I'll show you the old mower here in just a minute, but we're going to be converting it from that series deck to that series deck. We're going to make that one work on that mower. So hang on just a minute. Alright, this is the mower that deck come off of. This series is a pretty common series of mower. It's older, early 90s maybe. They look like that, they look like that, and they look like that one up there. They're all pretty standard mowers, but they all have that mechanically actuated deck. Mowers like this is a early 2000s. It has that cable operated deck. It would also work on that one, for instance. There's a few things that you have to change over to make this work. It's all pretty simple. You can do it in a reasonable amount of time. First of all, this bracket right here, if you notice, it has no clip hole for the cable, but it just comes off with these two bolts, and you can swap that out. This is what the one looks like that you're going to have to need for the cable operated. See the hole right here? That is for the cable, just also unbolts. Next, you're going to need to take this stud out, because that is where the cable hooks onto on this idler pulley. It's just held in by a carriage bolt. It goes on here and replaces that stud. Alright, there's one extra step. As you can see, I have the idler pulley off of this bolt. In order to get this bolt out, you have to remove this bolt here. It's kind of low light. Once you remove that nut, you can pull the assembly up and off and get to this bracket in order to pull this bolt out. You'll have to do the same over here. Take this bolt out in order to get this off. Now you can see that I have got this bracket removed. It is over here, and you will also notice that I removed this arm. A little bit easier to get into it with an impact. Now the bolts that hold this bracket on and this bolt are 1/2 inch. Then the bolts that hold the nuts that hold these bolts on are 9/16. Okay, now you can see that I have this bracket removed. Here's the comparison from the two brackets. As you can see, the cable driven one has the slot for the cable to go through, while the mechanical one does not. Now I was slightly wrong. You cannot convert the cable to a mechanical without taking this bracket off, which means welding and grinding. Now we're going to work on removing this pulley. Okay, I now have this bracket installed, which is the one with the slot in it for the cable. Next, we need to remove this pulley and this bolt in order to get that bolt out. Now, one trick I have is by taking a crowbar or a large flathead screwdriver underneath this bracket. You can almost see the head of the bolt down in there. That you can use that to hold the bolt from spinning, because it's a carriage bolt. It'll hold itself. Now I've got that pulley off, and you will notice I did not totally remove that bolt. All you have to do is loosen it in order to get this to raise up and out of the way to get this bolt out. I got to loosen it a little bit more, but you get the idea. And here it is with the new bolt from the original deck installed onto the mechanical deck. One thing to note is do not tighten this bracket bolt down very tight, as it will stop this from moving. You want it to be able to move freely, but not too much slack in it. Now I have the idler reinstalled with the proper bolt. Another thing you need to know is this spring right here originally resided in that hole right there and went to that hole on this deck. Now on here it will go from that hole right there to that hole right there, just like on the other one. We will go ahead and put that on. All you gotta do is take the hook it in there, and then bring it over to this one and hook it in there. And that gives you your spring tension to release the deck. And here you can see how the actuation works. The cable connect is here, it connects to here, and it will actuate just like originally. Now all the swapping is complete. It is time to reinstall the deck underneath the lawnmower. I do not have a tutorial on that right now as it is too dark and I don't have proper lighting. I will make sure to make a tutorial on how to remove and install these decks another day. Just a side note reminder, do not forget to replace this piece onto the back of the deck, as it levels the deck side to side and it's a bit of a pain to put on after the deck is in. Now once you have the deck properly reinstalled and everything hooked up, this is what it should look like when you engage the deck. Should tighten up the bolt, the belt, and everything should function smoothly. Now that the mower is all back together, the deck is mounted, properly adjusted. I will do a video on that later also, as it's a very complicated measure. We are going to test it and make sure the deck properly functions. The swap was a success. Everything is fully functional as planned. This concludes the tutorial. If you have any questions, please comment. And if you like the video, give it a like. If you dislike it, give it a dislike. Let me know what you think.